the one, the only, Ben Sion.
Good evening and welcome to Yeshiva YouTube, just Daf It. Today we're doing Sotah Daf Yud Zayin, number 17. Amazing share for you today. Hope you're all enjoying Pesach being over and having your chametz. Man, that challah tasted good over. I mean, is challah really good anyway? All right, let's get started. Mishnah Yud Zayin and Aleph. The top. Balo lichtov es Megillah. He comes to write the Megillah. Me'eza makom hu kosev. What do you write in the Megillah? The Megillah is this piece of parchment. We're going to learn that he writes certain psukim on, which include the name of Hashem, which are ultimately thrown into this water with dirt and erased. The name of Hashem is erased. And then the water is ultimately drunk by the Sotah. Me'eza makom hu kosev. What psukim does he write? So there's three opinions. The first opinion is the opinion of Tanakama, Meir. Mevi'im lo shachav ish v'eski at kisatis tia tachas isha ve'eno kosev ishpia kohen as isha v'kosev yiten Hashem oscha la'alo l'shua u'bao amayim marim ha'elam v'me'ayach litzvot batin olinpal yarach ve'eno kosev amra isha amen amen. That's the first opinion. It's just, if you have an art scroll, it's pretty helpful. If not, it's okay also. In footnote number 1 over here on 17a, they bring, starting from Pasuk 19 and through Pasuk 22. Basically, most of these 4 Pasukim are written, according to Reb Meir. The exceptions are the end of the last Pasuk. Amen, amen. She says amen, amen. That's not written down. And also half of Pasuk Chafal 21, the first half of the pasuk, which says "V'shpia kohen z'isha b'shua sa'alo amra kohen la'isha," that those words are not written according to Reb Meir. That's the first opinion. Rabbi Yossi Omer loya mafsek. Rabbi Yossi says that all 4 psukim in its entirety are written in the Megillah, in the parchment. Rabbi Huda Omer kol atzmo eno kosev. Basically, Huda says no, they basically don't write anything. What do they write? Ela yiten Hashem oscha la'alo l'shvua u'bao amayim ma'arim ha'elav ma'ayach ve'eno kosev amra isha amen amen. Basically, he says out of these 4 psukim, you only start from the middle of pasuk 21, and you go through pasuk 22 till the end, till the last 4 words, amra isha amen amen, which you do not include, which is also like Reb Meir. The Gemara says, what's the argument? What are they arguing about? These 3 opinions. They're arguing about the way to darshan the following pasuk. Because of as alos ha'kohen b'sefer, when it talks about writing in the Megillah Sotah, it says that the kohen should write ha'alos ha'ela. Reb Meir savar alos mamish. Alos means curses. So the curses, right? He writes ha'alos, the extra hey, l'rabos klolos habos makmas brachos. Now, if you look at the first 2 psukim, Pasuk 19 and 20, it says, first he says to her, if you did not sin, you did not commit adultery, so then you'll be cleansed from the Myanmar. So that's not written, right? Those are, right, they imply curses, right? If you did not commit adultery, so you'll be cleansed, which implies that if you didn't commit adultery, you'll be punished severely. Eile, so Eile, the next word is Eile, Lemute Klolo Shemisha Torah. That comes to exclude in Dvarim, in Parshas, Parsha after Kisete, Kisavo, talks about all the brachos and klolos that, and if you don't, and it's a general, it says if you, about the curses, what punishments you'll get. Those psukim are not written, right? Maybe they should be written because it talks about the curses of violating the Torah in general. They're not written. According to everyone, they're not written. Ha'ela lemote tzavos v'kabalos. Amen. And the ha'ela, alo halos ha'ela, the extra hey, ha'ela, comes to tell you that, according to Reb Meir, the first opinion, that the tzavos, right, which is basically the beginning of Pasuk Chaval 21, it's instructions to the Kohen, the tzavah to the Kohen, that's not written. And also the end of Pasuk 22, where it says, Amar Isha Amen Amen, that she accepts the vows. that is not written either, according to Rameir. That's how Rameir darshans the pasuk. Rabbi Yossi Kulu K'Gamris. He basically says like Rameir says, Es l'rabos savos v'kabalos. The reason he includes the entire 4 psukim is because the word es, that he's es ha'alos ha'ela. So the word es comes to, he holds es is l'rabos, comes to include also the beginning of pasuk of Aleph and the end of pasuk of Beis, where the Kohen is commanded to make her swear, and her kabbalah when she's amen to the brach to the close. Meir, why doesn't he darshan? Esem lo darsh. It's machlokas elsewhere many times between Tanoim. Whether you're dorish, the word es is significant enough to dorish. Meir is not darshan, doesn't dorish it. Rabbi Yehuda, kuluhu v'meyute darish lahu. Rabbi Yehuda, the third opinion, he basically doesn't write anything in there. He darshans all these psukim to exclude darish lahu. Alos mamish. Now it doesn't say alos, which is a curse. So those are explicitly the curses. Ha'alos mute klos habalos machmas brachos. However, pasuk Yud and Chaf, which talk about, right, if she's cleansed, if she's not guilty, then what will happen? She won't, right? Which imply that if she is guilty, she will be punished. Those are not written because it comes to exclude. We'll talk about why he darshans hay to exclude, as opposed to Rameir hay was inclusionary. Very hard to go back and forth. I don't have the Gemara in front of me. I'm sitting on a weird L-shaped desk over here. I'm losing the place. The word Eila, Lamute Klolish Mishnah Torah. Like we said before, Eila excludes. It does. You don't have to write the curses in Parshas Kisavo. The extra hay comes to exclude also, right, the beginning of Pasuk of Aleph and the end of Pasuk of Beis, right, where the tzavah to the Kohen and the Kabbalah, the woman says Amen. Meir, Maishna Hai Hey Dimarabi Be, Maishna Hai Hey Dimoid Be. According to Rabbi Yehuda, hay always comes to exclude. According to Meir, the first hay comes to include, right, the brachos, which, right, the clothes which are implied from the brachos, and the second hay is to exclude. Why one time including, one time excluding? Hey de gabe deribuya ribuya. Hey de gabe nimuta miuta. No, because the word alos is telling you what to write. So hay comes to include more things. However, Eila is to exclude, so the hay comes to exclude something else. Makes sense. According to Rameir, we learn in Masechus Nedarim numerous times. Rameir, just by something, the Torah says something positive, right? You can't imply the negative. So the pasuk Yud Ten and Chaf, which say that she's cleansed if she's not guilty, we can't imply the klalo. So why does he include that as something you write in the parshios? Amrei Tanchum Hanaki Ksiv. Right, the pasuk Yotet, it says if she's cleansed, hinaki. Hinaki really means naki. She'll be cleansed if she didn't commit adultery. But it surely should be written hey yud nun kof yud. It's written without a yud, which sounds like hey is very similar to the letter chet. It's just add a little bit, right? Like chametz, you add a little bit. The difference between matzah and chametz is a little bit, right? It's basically connecting the small part of the hay to the top of the hay. So basically, it could be read chinaki, which means to choke. So it's not mikal shamehain. It's not, right. It says positives. You infer the negative. No, it says the negative chinaki. It sounds like the negative chinaki, so that's why it's written. Sorry. Darish Rabbi Akiva ish v'isha zachu shnei shchina b'neihem. Now we talk a little. I got it though. If man and woman are zocha, they build a bias nem for Yisrael. They have good shalom bias. Shechina b'neihem. Then the Shechina will rest in their house. Those zachu, if they're not, they don't marry it. Eishal chaltan. Fire will consume their marriage. Amarava u'deisha adifa mid'ish. Hai mitzaref v'hai lo mitzaref. The fire that comes from the woman is will consume the marriage a lot more than the fire that comes from the man. How do you know that? Because the word ish, right? They both have the word ish in them, fire. The ish, you have a yud separating the aleph from the shin. And the woman, isha, the ish is right next to each other. You have the hey at the end, but they're right next to each other. Therefore, the fire that comes from women are more dangerous to a marriage than men. So the Gemara says, I'm a rava, mipnei ma'amra Torah, have afar l'sota. Zochta Yosef Mimena Ben Ka'am Ravinu. Why did the Torah include one of the parts of preparing the maize sotah is to put dirt in there? We talked about in the previous daf putting dirt in there. Why is that significant? One of the reasons the Torah did it is because if she's actually not guilty, she'll, right, the Gemara is going to talk about it, she'll have merits. She'll have a son like Avram Avinu. Right, it says by Avraham that he made himself like dirt and ashes. Lo zachsa. If she's not zocha, she's guilty. Taksar lafara. Then it's symbolic that she'll go back, she'll be killed, and she'll go back to the dirt of the dust of the earth. Darish Rava b'schar shamar Avram Avinu anochi afar ve'efer. Avram Avinu said, "I am dirt and ashes." Zachu banav l'shtei mitzvos. Efer para v'afar sotah. Efer para is your cleanse of impurity. You can go eat kachim now again, and also afar sotah, if she's cleansed from adultery, she can go back to her husband. Why didn't we talk about the dirt that you cover the blood with? Right? As I explained many times, really mitzvahs were given to benefit from. We don't understand the mitzvahs. However, the mitzvah of kisei adam is not really a complete mitzvah. It's a hechsher mitzvah because when you shech the animal, you get to eat the animal. If you don't cover the blood of the chayav or the oaf that you just shechted, you can still eat the meat. It's just something which makes it better, right? It's more proper, more dignified to eat the meat when you cover the blood, but you can still eat it technically. So therefore, that wasn't the main thrust of Afar. It's talking about Afar Sotah. Darish Rava, b'schar shamar Ravinu imchut v'atzroch nal zachu b'nal l'shtei mitzvos. Right after the war in the 4 and 5 kings, Avram said he's not taking anything, even from a string to a shoelace. So therefore, 2 strings his children merited. What were they? Chushal tchelis, retzua shel tefillin. The string of tchelis in your tzitzis, and the refu tua shel tefillin. The straps of tefillin. Vishlam retzua shel tefillin. That's positive. Dechsiv rao kol me'aras kishem Hashem nekra alecha. Tanya lezra gadol omer elo tefillin shebarosh. We find elsewhere that it's something which is a positive thing for Klal Yisrael. They have the tefillin because everyone will see the tefillin on the heads of the Jews, and they'll be afraid of the Jews, so it'll inspire awe among the nations. What's the benefit of the strand of tcheles? The Sanya Hayar Omer Man Ishana tcheles Mikol Mine Tzivonim. Why is tcheles? What is tcheles? I always like to say, patil tcheles. Take out the po. Teal is a color. It's a nice color. Dolphins wear Miami Dolphins color. If you want to know what teal is. The green in the Miami Dolphins. So that's a nice color. North Carolina, Tar Heels. Tcheles is similar to the sea. The sea is sort of blue. The sea is symbolic of the heavens, which is also type of blue. And the heavens are similar to the throne of God. When they saw the throne of Hashem, they saw it was like a brick made out of sapphire. Sapphire, usually is blue. That was basically reflective of the skies, which are blue. Another vision by a Navi. He saw like a sapphire stone, which is an image of the throne of God. Sapphire is not exactly the same thing as teal. We'll talk more about why this is such a benefit. The Rishonim struggle to understand how the Gemara is saying it's a benefit to have the chushal tcheles, because we're talking about the color. The color is similar to Hashem's kisei hakavod. How is that a beneficial thing for a mitzvah? What reward exactly are you getting by having the chushal tcheles? I'll try to talk about that more, even with Ben Sion coming up next. The Mishnah says, "Eno kosev lo al luach v'lo al niyar." You're not supposed to write the Megillah on a piece of wood, not on a piece of paper. V'lo ala diftera, even if you want to use cloth, which is the animal skin, when you're supposed to write on. Diftera is something which is, there's 3 steps in preparing the cloth. Basically, is the skin of a cow that you want to take. But diphthera is, you basically salt it and you put in the flour, but you don't put the gallnuts in. So it's not completely prepared. El al Megillah, it has to be like a Megillah, like you write a Sefer Torah, all three steps. Shenemar, b'sefer, on the top of Yud Zayin on base, b'sefer, has to be like a Sefer Torah. You can't write it with some of that permanent type of ink. Kumus, the article translates gum, concasum, ferrous sulfate. Go back to your chemistry class and try to figure out what that is. Anything that leaves a mark, it has to be with ink. Shenemar umacho umacho. Kosav shiachal umachos. Pasuk says that Hashem's name is erased. It has to be written with ink that's able to be erased. Other types of permanent markers will never be erased. You can't use them. The word says, Amar Rav, Megillah Sotah shekasav alayla psula. If you wrote the Sotah, the parchment of the Sotah at night, it's possible. You can't use it. My time. Ask a Torah. It's a Torah. Ksiv hacha. Also, Allah HaKohen, it's called a Torah Hazos. In general, when it talks about the Sotah, it says the Kohen should do for the entire Torah. Ksiv Hasam, Al Pia Torah Sheyarucha, Al Mishpat. Ma Mishpat Bayom, Af Megillah Sotah Bayom. Just like we learn in Sotah Sanhedrin, you want to adjudicate a case. Dayanim don't meet at night, they meet during the day. That's what we learn from Pasuk B'yom Hanchila. As Bonim says, during the day, you give out laws of inheritance, you work on documents of wills and stuff like that. So we learn from the Gemara in Sanhedrin that when you want to adjudicate cases, monetary cases, during the day, and also the Sotah, the writing of the Parsha Sotah has to be done during the day. Let's say you wrote this parchment of Sotah, but you wrote out of order. I mentioned 4 psukim. You started writing backwards. You write Pasuk 22, 21, or whatever. You wrote it backwards, out of order. That's possible. Right? Just the simple explanation of the pasuk. You write these curses, right? The way they're written. That sounds like Eila is Eila these, right? Even though we darshan Eila on an aleph or something else, the simple explanation of the pasuk is the way it's normally written. You wrote the parsha, the Megillah Sotah, before she took a shvuah. She has to take the shvuah first, and then you write it on the parsha. In the order of the Torah, first it says he makes her take a shvuah, and then it says to write it. The Sefer Amar Rahman. Also, if you write it igeris, like a Megillus Esther does not have to be written with scoring. Normally, you have to etch in the lines before you write a Sefer Torah. Megillus Esther does not need that. It's called igeris. However, by Megillah Sotah, it does have to be written that because it says Sefer, like a Sefer Torah, so you have to score the lines to make sure they're straight, and then write the Parsha Sotah. We'll continue tomorrow with some other laws of the Megillah Sotah. Stay tuned for Either Van Sion, where we discuss Tcheles by Tzitzis. What exactly is the reward? Because it's a specific color that resembles the sea, resembles the heavens, resembles the Kisei HaKavod, the throne of God. What exactly is the reward of having the specific color by Tzitzis, even with Ben Sion coming up next?